Welcome to Otaku Talk, everyone. I'm your host, OD, and today we are talking about Chapter 312 of My Hero Academia. Really fun chapter. I'm actually kind of excited to review it, so without much further ado, let's get into it. If this is your first time on this channel, or you've been here a while, please like, share, subscribe, but most importantly, please bang that bell button. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe. I only need 12 more. That's 12 subscribers. So help a brother out. Anyway, let's get into it. Alright guys, today we have what I like to call a hype chapter. Now, this is not really any different from a typical exposition chapter. I just call it a hype chapter because the exposition is solely for the point of hyping up this character, right? So we are introduced to the woman that shot Deku last chapter, and I am also assuming was the one that bombed All Might, and her name is Lady Nagant. And I was really curious about the name because it didn't flow well. It sounded weird, and I was like, okay, what does this mean? And not much to my surprise, a Nagant is, I believe, a German gun. Is it German or Russian? This is what happens when you do last minute research, folks. But more or less, it's a really good rifle. It's a rifle that's been used for I believe 3 generations or 3 centuries. Once again, mixing up my knowledge, but it's a really good rifle, and it's one that can also what's it called? Is semi-automatic. So that's really dangerous. Not only do you have to worry about getting sniped from far away, but if they miss, they can try again without reloading, I believe. I'm not a big gun guy, but I have the general gist. And so basically, like I said, the whole purpose of this chapter is just purely hype and exposition on her. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But have we been told about Hawk's mentor before? Because in the flashback, he kind of haphazardly says it like, if you ever run into my mentor, run away. And I was like, and at that moment I was like, who's his mentor? I was super curious. And so we found out it's her. We get some more exposition. We have the number 25 hero in the world, Snipes. We've seen him a couple times throughout the series show up, and he looks like he's on some kind of interview show. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of rubs me the wrong way that like heroes would go on a superhero show or like some kind of like interview show and just kind of, openly discuss their strengths and weaknesses, because like I get that he was trying to hype up how good Lady Nagant was or is. He basically says my power, the ability to my power is homing. Basically, if you're within 600 meters of me and I fire a gun at you, it's going to hit you. Now, I can't do the specifics, which is honestly kind of disappointing. You would think that like what he can do would be something that they would have worked with him at his Hero Academy, and he should have trained to be able to do precision homing, but maybe he wasn't a good student. Who knows? But basically he can hit anyone as long as he can see them. He just doesn't have control over which part of them like gets hit. So that was really interesting. And so he goes on to say, however, what makes her so great is she can hit you. Not only can she hit you from 3 kilometers away, which by the way, 600 meters is about 0.37 miles, so less than half a mile. And 3 kilometers is about it's almost, I think, 1.86 miles. That's almost 2 miles. By the way, I'm not some super genius. I literally look up these numbers before the video. So if it looks like, if you're like, oh my God, he's calculating kilometers to miles. No, I'm not. I'm not that. It's not that deep. Not that smart. I have the power of God and anime and internet on my side. So yeah, we find out about her. We find out that not only can she shoot like over like 4 times his distance. Yeah, about 4 times his distance. She does that without a quirk that allows her to like aim well. Like her ability to aim and hit targets from that far isn't part of her quirk. Her quirk is what gives her the medium to do it, but it's not what gives her the accuracy. The accuracy is completely from her, which just like Snipes, I find that to be super impressive. That all basically minus the fact that her hair turns into bullets and her arm is a gun, it makes it seem as though she could do this with just a regular she could do this with just a regular gun, like and regular bullets. So that's really impressive. That's really impressive in my opinion. So we find out a lot about her, and that her power is rifle. She's able to turn her right arm into a rifle. Like we said last chapter, kind of like Baby 5, who had the weapon fruit and could turn herself into any weapon. Something similar, kind of akin to that. But the only thing she can do is turn her arm. Well, from what we know, the only thing she can do is turn her right arm into a rifle. Why her right arm? I don't know. Can she turn it into other guns? Can she turn other body parts? I'm assuming no. But obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if down the line the mangaka does show, she just chooses to use this. This is her like optimal. She prefers this, but she does have the ability to do this. I do think it's kind of cool that an extension of her rifle ability is that she can turn her hair into bullets. Kind of curious if there was ever a point in her life where she went bald, or like how that went, or how much hair she has to use. She's able to make her turn her hair into like an epoxy type material that she can form into either hollow tips or bullets that curve, kind of like Wanted. I thought originally she had a homing ability until we got that exposition because of how the bullet curved and kind of chased Deku. So also it looks now in this panel that the bullet did pierce his phone. At the time I thought his phone was made out of whatever Nokias were made out of, because that jaunt looked like it just ate that bullet, went into the wall and didn't break, but it looks like it did pierce the phone. I also like the fact that it doesn't appear like they have cell phones in this world, because he said my secret radio transmission device. I was like, nigga, a cell phone? So that was really interesting. So we don't really know much about her. It looks like she's developed some kind of bond with Overhaul. Also, it looks like Overhaul has completely lost his mental. He's just kind of muttering to himself. He's clearly a shell of his former self. And he keeps talking about an old man. Now, I thought the original old man he was talking about was All For One, but it could be like the Yakuza boss that he looked up to, and he's just, kind of, in a vegetable state. I'm kind of thinking that there's a possibility that All For One might help him. Like, at first I was thinking maybe there might be some kind of redemption for him. For some reason on the internet, a lot of people want him to have redemption. I could give a fuck. I don't think he was that great a dude. He didn't really do anything, in my opinion, that warrants redemption. But, he could have like a twice like redemption arc. We'll see. Maybe he secretly cared about Arena, but I don't know. He experimented on her, so I don't see it. I saw that I did say last review, if there was a redemption kind of arc, maybe Arena does give him his powers, but there does seem to be a chance that instead of Arena giving him the powers, it'll instead be maybe one All For One. So that's something that we can hold on to. I don't think he's just going to remain crazy the entirety of I think there will be something that snaps him out. I do think that we'll get more exposition onto the whole why he keeps saying old man. The reason we get a flashback of Lady Nagant being let out of jail, and it literally purely seems like I thought she was kidnapping him, or her job was to transport him somewhere. It literally just seems like she's taken a liking to Overhaul, and that she recognizes someone else who was disappointed in Hero Society. That brings me to another point. It seems like we found out that she used to be a hero, but then she became a traitor, and maybe it's just kind of like what's his name? Stain. There we go. Sorry. Maybe it's something to do with Stain. Like Stain was kind of our first look into how dissatisfied people were with the superhero society, but I don't think we were quite ready when we saw Stain. I think when we saw Stain, all we really saw was, oh look, another villain with really shitty logic. But now that we are where we are in the series, it's like, okay, turns out that Stain wasn't as crazy as we thought, and many people harbor these feelings of animosity towards the current hero society. So that's something interesting. Personally, I'm still a little bit perturbed and kind of disappointed in this because I'm just not really understanding. I'm not understanding how so many people have an issue with the Hero Society. The one thing I thought people would have an issue with the most, and this is what I would have an issue with, is the fact that like you can't use your quirks like openly. You have to have like licenses and shit. That would piss me off. It kind of feels like regulation of your body. Like, yeah, quirks are dangerous, but at the same time it's your body. And if I want to like, use my quirk to fly to work or something, or if I want to use my quirk to like, do something mundane or just do something because I should be able to do it. So honestly, I would have went that route personally, but I guess that doesn't make for an interesting story. But yeah, literally we find out that she's working for All For One now. I have no clue what he offered her or why she's working for him. Well, obviously, sorry, I do know why she's working for him. She hates heroes. She hates the Heroes Society. He offered to bring it crumbling down, and so she said, "All right, sign me up." And she took Overhaul with her as some kind of like plaything. To I want to get more into why she took him. Besides that, oh, he just reminds you of me, or he harbors the same kind of animosity I harbor, kind of thing. So yeah, super interesting. Going back to it, Deku at first does decide, you know what, I should try to bolt, get out of here. Hawks did warn me that if I run into her, I should dip. But, honestly, let's be real. Deku has way better powers than Hawks. He's a disciple of All Might. He's the wielder of One For All, and now he has all these other abilities. I think it's kind of stupid for him to run. I do understand that it's smart for him to have caution, but I do think his best bet here is to fight her. I do definitely think that while Hawks and the rest of them are a little bit away, because you do remember last chapter they were trying to like distance themselves from Deku because of the angry mob, but they are still in the vicinity. I do think obviously because he's not able to communicate, they're not going to be able to communicate with Deku through his phone, and they're not going to be able to communicate with All Might because his car got blown up. So I think they'll obviously know that something is wrong. Maybe they'll hear gunshots. I don't know how loud her arm gun fires, but kind of like Trigun. I just thought about that. Except Trigun's is way better. Shoots a giant. Anyway, so I do think he will get help. I think the decision to run at her was very smart because, not a short-handed gun, but a sniper rifle, isn't going to be as effective long distance. He said, he's within her 2-kilometer range. He would have to get out of the almost 3-kilometer range. I mean, he would have to get out of the 2-mile radius like ASAP, and his options to close the distance and fight her are way smarter than, just basically being target practice for her. So I appreciate that decision. Unfortunately, it seems like All For One has done it again and has bequeathed some power to her and gives her the power to airwalk, which is honestly the scariest power you can give a sniper. A sniper's greatest advantage is vantage point. You've probably heard that in every thriller, every movie you've ever seen. There's a sniper on the roof. I need a good vantage point. Long story short, if you give a sniper distance and height, they can attack you while you can't attack them. And so now she's going to be able to have a much easier time sniping him. However, luckily he has float, and hopefully he can do more than just float. Maybe he can use his black whip, grab her gun before he fires it, change the direction of it, pull himself towards her, take her out. From what I've seen, it doesn't seem like she has a lot of durability, even though she looks kind of stacked. We saw a little scene of her. She has like kind of built legs, a little bit thick. I know that people are about to simp for her a little bit. So, she can probably hold her own. Like we had the number 25 hero bragging about how she's the greatest to ever do it. So I really would not be surprised in the slightest if she has some more tricks up her sleeve. Also, like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised at all if she's maybe able to change her hand into like a pistol or a close range weapon of sorts. Once again, I believe the specific name of her quirk is rifle, so maybe it is specifically a rifle, but we don't know what else she can do. It's kind of getting One Piece-ish, where even though your Devil Fruit or your quirk is one thing, it has many applications. Like, for example, like I can get that her arm is a rifle, but the fact that her hair, she has the ability to turn her hair into bullets is very unique. I wonder if she's able to turn them into other types of projectiles or weaponry as well. So that's something interesting. So yeah, I mean, I think that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, it was a hype chapter. It was an exposition chapter all about Lady Nagant. Next chapter, we're gonna have a really good fight between them. I think that Deku's gonna get a little injured. She seems to know what she's doing. This airwalk power is going to inconvenience him a bit. I'm curious to see how he counteracts it. I kind of foresee some I forget what it's called when he does the air flick, but maybe some air bullets to counter her bullets. Maybe some cowling dodges. Danger sense, some smoke screen to give him cover so she can't see. But I'm wondering if maybe she was given another power where she can like see through things. But I definitely see a lot of Deku's quirks being very, very useful against a sniper. He can fly himself, so he should be able to close the distance. The smoke screen to shroud her vision. The danger sense to help him dodge, and then just One for All itself in that great power. So yeah, that's about the extent of this review. I hope you had a great time. And take care. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. I also have some videos coming out this weekend on I believe the Invincible animated series, and I believe I want to do one on Jupiter's Legacy. So stay tuned for that. Have a great day. Take care. Have a good weekend.